Alright guys, welcome back to the middle of nowhere. I've been thinking of what kind of video I should make for this month. A few ideas went through my mind, and this is what I settled on. So lately I've read some books that have really impressed me, is what we'll say. They've been pretty close to 5-star reads, at least the first book in the series has been, and I've really enjoyed the stories that they've been telling me. And I have been in contact with one of the authors, and they offered me an arc of their book as well, and it just came out, and I'm excited to read it. Like, it sounds really interesting. And so we'll get to that one at the end. But I wanted to take a moment and highlight some books from a publisher that you don't really hear a lot about. And we're going to be talking about some books that I've enjoyed from Baen Publishing. First book we're going to talk about, main reason that I decided to do this video is these are books I've really enjoyed, but I almost hear nothing about. There's a few people that have read them and really enjoyed them. And so this is my small effort to try to get the word out about some of these books and see if I can get some excitement about them. But the first one that I'm going to talk about is Wraithbound by Tim Akers. First of all, I know his cover. Unfortunately, I didn't look up the artist at the time of filming, but I did see the tweet where they said that the cover has been put up for an award. And I know that the artist made the cover, made the image, and so congrats to him and congrats to Tim Akers on that accomplishment. But I also believe that this is a work of art as far as the story goes. It is intense, epic, edge of your seat, and one of the coolest magic systems I've seen, especially with the sword and the demons and the weather and everything else. It's a well thought out story, well structured, and really, really entertaining. And I know a lot of people would love it if they gave it just a small chance. And so this is my ask is, like, look into this one. Do soul swords sound interesting? What about talking with demons and dark magic and kids that don't know what's going on? It sounds like it's a young adult. It's really not. The themes are a lot more adult-like, so it is an adult fantasy novel. And it's dark, it's intense, it's action-packed, and it's one of my 5-star reads for the month. I really, really enjoyed it and can't recommend it enough. So do yourself a favor. I'll put the link to purchase the book down in the description box below, and see if you'll give it a try. The next series I'm going to talk about, they've been out a little bit longer. I remember I saw them at the library, and then I saw them again at the bookstore, and I was kind of in a reading slump. It's when I wasn't reading nearly as much. And I picked up book 1. And this series is based a little bit more on, like, the India culture, from what I understand. And I can see a little bit of that with the jungles and kind of that India type of atmosphere. Once again, from Baen Publishing. Book 1 is Son of the Black Sword by Larry Correia. And I'd never read any books by him. I know he has the Monster Hunter books out there that are done by the same publisher, and they do a lot of sci-fi publishing as well. But this story blew me away. It took me a bit to get into it. I won't lie about that, as you kind of jump from the past to the beginning. But it was intense. And the demons were something different and original, and not everybody could fight the demons. And so it was really interesting to see this protector of Ashok as he goes and fights the demons, and his story as they go. And it's one of those that has the harsh caste system. There's the people that touch the water. That's the other thing that's really interesting. We'll touch on that in a second. And like, there's the lower caste and then there's the upper caste, and it's very much you stick to your class and you can't intermingle. You don't do that. It's strictly forbidden on penalty of death. And it's very evident right from the get-go of that caste system. The other thing is that water is evil. They only do it for light bathing and drinking for nourishment. Other than that, they will avoid it at all costs. So the closer you live to the ocean, the darker you are, I guess, or more cast out that you are. And that part really intrigued me as well. I really thought it was a clever idea, something different, and I loved how it played out into the story. And so I picked it up at, I want to say about 4 or 5 years ago, way before I was doing this BookTube channel, and really enjoyed it. So then I picked up House of Hades, which is, or not House of Hades, House of Assassins, which is book 2. And really enjoyed the story as well because it left on a cliffhanger. It continued with the great action scenes. Some of the sword fights in these books are jaw-dropping, intense, and inspiring. I'm not going to say a whole lot because I don't want to spoil everything from book 1, but it continues and builds on Ashok's story as well as some of the other characters that you grew to meet in book 1. And it's a lot more fleshed out as they go on a rescue mission in book 2. And then you also get book 3, Destroyer of Worlds. And it has a quote from a very popular author, one Jim Butcher. It says, "Everything I like in fantasy." And once again, very solid story. This one didn't hit me as much as the other ones did, unfortunately. Mainly because I built up this one scene that happened in this book and it kind of fell flat for me. And I felt like some things were kind of rushed, but still really enjoy the series. And I know Tower of Silence, which is book 4, I'll put the graphic up there, was released earlier this year. Books 1 through 3 do have narration by Tim Gerard Reynolds. I know they're waiting on the narration for book 4. I don't know when it's coming out. So I haven't read book 4 yet, as I redid all 3 of them on audio last year, and in anticipation of doing book 4 on audio, and then it got delayed. And so I will probably slot book 4 in sometime very soon and go from there. But I have high hopes for it. I still love Ashok as a character, one of the best sword fighters out there, and it's really interesting, especially as Black Powder is introduced later in the series. So now we come to the book that kind of gave me the inspiration for this video, I guess, and that's I picked up The Art of Lord of a Shattered Land by Howard Andrew Jones, and this cover reminds me a lot of the older style fantasy that I used to read when I was growing up, and it made me really excited even before I knew what it was about. I don't know a whole lot about the story. I just kind of briefly read it, but I know a lot of people are saying that this author is really good with the sword and sorcery genre, and so I'm really eager to jump into this one and find out what's going on, especially with this cover, the giant worm-like dragon. See what's happening and how they can kind of rescue him that way. And so you can look forward to my thoughts on that book coming up shortly, probably later this month. I'll probably do a dedicated review for it. Have you guys heard of this publisher? Have you enjoyed any of these books that I talked about, or maybe some of the others that have been done by this publisher? This is my little way of saying, hey, check out these books. These are some lesser known series books that I don't hear a lot about, that I have enjoyed or am really looking forward to enjoying. So I look forward to seeing what you guys put in the comments down below. You can give me a like and subscribe. It's greatly appreciated. I enjoy interacting with you guys, and I appreciate all the views you guys give me. Until next time, guys, that's all I've got. As always, happy reading and stay great.